Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round one of the Truck Stars Formula 2 Championship. After many months of testing and wanting Gran Turismo 7 to be up and running, we've got it to an extent of where we can run. And we've got a really nice showing here at the moment, but as always, joined by me in the commentary box is N-Spud P666. Welcome, my friend.
Oh yes, finally DJ, I can finally say we are up, live and racing here at Track Stars Racing Series, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are bringing you live the first round of the Track Stars Formula 2 Season 3 of Track Stars Formula 2 Racing, where we've had two previous winners in XX Uso 16 in 2020, and then followed by the legendary Viper said, obviously, he might be hearing me through his commentary. Yes, I called you a legend, my friend. Yes, you are a very fast driver. But yes, we've had two champions. A new champion will be crowned at the end of round 11 at the end of July, DJ. Obviously, we can't pick our predictions right now, but going through qualifying stages, I will say one thing, though. The Mash Spuds racing duo of Xylon 96 and Dargs 94 will be the ones to watch this evening.
You're just saying that just because they're MSR, aren't you?
No, actually, because when we've had a pre-qualifying, those two were actually trading fastest lap times in the low 1 minute 30s. But we also had some brand new drivers coming in as well. We have this, I believe it's Captain Blade from America, who is recently now signed, who has just signed up for the CP Motorsport entry. So it's going to be a nice little classic CP Motorsport versus MSR in Division 2, but we'll have to wait and see as we get qualifying underway. We're about just under 7 minutes of qualifying to go, but first times have come through. We have Cyric and the MSR VL racing on a 1 minute 31.8 with Silent right behind, and Doug's 74 completing out an MSR 123 so far.
Yeah, you've done some a few solid signings there, but you're lucky that you got Cyric. We were going to try and flog him to be my teammate, but he couldn't do a full season, so you were lucky to take him. But it's so far, yeah, been a Mash Buds 1, 2, 3. But I'm not too sure what times these F2 guys are running at the moment. But by the looks of it, on softs, they'd probably be looking at say a low 31, high 30, I'd say roughly.
Well, we were going, when we did the pre-qualifying, I think when we did a simulated run with around about 60 to 55 litres of fuel, I think the guys were just about getting into the low 1 minute 31s. You had your faster guys getting into the high 1 minute 30s on soft tyres, so really quick times with our Formula 2 boys, as we see Xylon 96 on screen, making his triumphant return in Formula 2 after taking a bit of a break away from GT Sport Racing. This is coming through to bus stop chicane, turns 9 and 10. How does he execute that? In the white lines perfectly, nicely planted through that corner. Does he go purple at the end of this sector? He does by, is that 5 tenths, I believe? No, 3 tenths.
3 tenths, that is.
So 3 tenths, all he just needs to keep the car down, right down below.
Rose on the top purple. See if you can bump him off.
So Xylon's coming through onto the straight, coming into the final corner. That is the final corner of the Daytona 500, and he sets a 1 minute 31.4, so not able to eclipse Rose's time there, so he still stays second place. So Rose is so far for the Intercontinental Esports Racing Group in pole position so far this evening.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice solid time there, 31.3, but yeah, I know it's a bit iffy, this track, kind of like, if you get it right, it feels really good, but if you get it wrong, it absolutely just turns to absolute crap. But so far, the top two are separated by 0.12, and my apologies to anyone viewing, it doesn't have keyboard compatibility, so you'll see me flicking through the field singly, so that's a bit unfortunate, as well as we don't have any replays, so we can't see any replays. But as I say that, we've got Xylon, who's just gone half a tenth quicker through sector 2, so we'll see we'll follow him again. Oh, he's purple again by half a second through sector 3, so see what he can do through the bus stop.
As you keep an eye on that time, we'll just go through split 2 that's going on off screen, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we've had a nice, wonderful entries of, I believe that's going to be 26 drivers this evening, DJ. That is incredible from all of our drivers participating in Formula 2. But so far in the second split, we have Hell's Angel from Clutch Kickers Racing in pole, with Devlin Calypso in second, Magical Wax in third, Shuby Jr. fourth, and Soul Reaper in the top 5. But a nice showing for the clutch kickers who are making their debuts. As we see Xylon 96 actually go pole position so far, and these guys only got about 3 minutes 40 to go. But can anyone top him off? We look at the likes of Broccoli, that we know DJ is a very fast driver. He just wants to demote himself to F2 racing, and he can definitely surprise us when it comes to the end of qualifying.
I definitely wouldn't count out Broccoli. We know what he's like after being in main series, so I'll definitely be on the lookout for him. Even, obviously he's with ISR, so it'd be a good showing to see them up there, because they do have a lot of potential, obviously in Roses, Broccoli, even in main series with Cabans and Highlander. And speaking of Highlander, welcome mate, I see you in the chat there. But yeah, it's not too bad. But by the looks of it, some of these guys are struggling a little bit with these formulas. But as we know as well, with the Robbo goes purple through sector 1, so keep an eye on this and see what he can do. Beautiful livery there from the Robbo Sport guys.
So Robbo Sport, the man, the leader of the split 1 lobbies, and even at the first part of pre-qualifying is coming through. He's been talking to me over the headset, DJ. He's not really finding his confidence again amongst drivers like Xylon and Dargs as he saw the pre-qualifying times. So obviously now he's got a bit of free running himself. Now we do know that Robbo is a very strong qualifier, especially when we saw in the back end of last season his qualifying performances was really good. But I believe when it comes to race pace, he just can't seem to find that consistency like he does in qualifying.
Yeah, I think he did say pre-season that he did struggle a little tiny bit with qualifying, but in the race he kind of propels a lot more. But he did get really unfortunate last season with being involved in some incidents and stuff like that. Obviously, that was probably caused by a lot of the fast guys coming through, with the likes of obviously Matt, Viper, Jaram, Xylon, all that kind of stuff, and he did kind of get bumped back to, say, probably 9th or 10th, so he got stuck back there, which has been unfortunate. But it's that's racing, I guess. But he's jumped himself up into, I think that was position 6. So another thing that we need to take into account is with the updated settings of GT7, we can't actually disable tuning and have overtake on. So it throws a spanner in the works for the TS2 guys. So now they can have complete open option to tuning, and yeah, so that may throw a bit of wood in the works.
Exactly, and especially with our guys in the MSR boys in Xylon and Darks, who are occupying the 2 of the 3 grid positions and so far in qualifying. They've really been working hard in the off season and even over the testing of the last weeks, just trying to nail down their setups for the racing. But if we see some surprise names back here, DJ, we're seeing names like Nightwalker 964, who we've known is really competitive, that especially when he was racing under CP Motorsports, he's down in 11th place. So a bit of lackluster, not a lot of time practicing for him, but he's just down outside the top 10. So might be a bit of a shock up for him, but he just needs to try and find a lap time with only, I believe Robbo said that was the last lap for qualifying, and he just got himself a half-second penalty cutting the corner in the bus stop there. So that's going to really dampen his chances to be in the top 10.
Definitely, but from going through these ones, there's quite a bit of close competition here. So we've got, obviously there's a 0.6 between 6th and 7th, but then you've got 0.2 between 7th and 8th, and then 0.02, 0.1, 0.034. So 8th, 9th, and 10th is all really close there. But yeah, it's definitely going to be strapped in here. So Robbo's called the end of qualifying, so everyone will just park up here at the end of sector 1. So it'll put everyone in grid position order. We'll take a bit of a jot down of who goes where. I'll help him out with that anyway. So we've got Xylon here finishing his lap. We'll see if we can go any better than a 130.5. Nah, he's down that one, unfortunately there.
So as we get ourselves sorted out for this qualifying, we have so far on pole position, unless Roses comes through. Ooh, he improves, but not enough. So I think that's the end of qualifying there. Xylon takes pole position, in first place with Roses in second, and then Dark 74 rounding up the top three. Brock Lily right behind. He's just pipped Sirik there at the last moments to be in fourth place, with Sirik rounding up the top five there. So great showing by all, and we shall get this race underway very shortly to hopefully sort out the grid positions of our drivers.
But just starting before that, welcome to Mr. John Mandela. It's all the way over there in the US, and what I would like to do is do a little fancy dancy that he's made, and we'll run you through a bit of a Daytona layout. So I'll put a little short on there, and we can have a bit of a run through. So I'll flick to that now. Hopefully it works.
There we go. So the beautiful Daytona International Speedway circuit, right in Florida, in Daytona, near Daytona Beach, as it's coming down through to the turn one section, which is the infield section of this beautiful track there. Oops. Coming through down.
Sorry, I just slowed it down there and it just restarted. So there we go.
So just near Daytona Beach in the lovely state of Florida, as is coming through into turn one. A very tricky corner to negotiate as there's coming a very long left-hander just to try and get through that. Coming through turns 2 and 3, which is one of the biggest overtaking opportunities there, just to send a little dive bomb through there. And hopefully all drivers will be very cautious on that first lap. Coming into turn 4 now. We're into the dogleg section, and then one of the trickiest parts of the corner is run too wide, that you're going to get into the marbles and spit out onto the grass. Run too narrow, you're going to lose a lot of speed coming onto this little straight, coming up to turn 6 onto the outfield section now. So now we're onto the famous Daytona International Speedway circuit, coming around through this first banking, which is in theory the turn 1 of the NASCAR Daytona 500 racing. But coming along here, DJ, along the inside line is what you want to take for the best run, coming along straight, then right up against the wall before you get into the very tricky bus stops, turn 9 and 10, and then negotiating the rest of the track to complete your race lap.
Yeah, it's a definitely nice little display here that It's Racing's done, so that's pretty good. So it's very, very nice, and we do have the new logo down in the bottom there, and it's much appreciated.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it looks very good. So all the way from overseas, thank you, Jarman, for providing us with some awesome content for us to display on the streams. Thank you so much, and obviously we cannot wait to get this racing started underway in just a minute or two's time.
I do believe they've gone green, so we'll go back here. Okay, yeah, they have gone green, so I didn't know if they were restarting or not. But yeah, we have gone green for the round 1 of the Trackstars Formula 2 series. My apologies for the delay there, but off we go.
Here we are at the end of lap 1. At the end of turn 3, we have Silo 96 in first place, with Roses in second, Brock Lily in third, Robbo Sports making up a couple of positions in fourth. Darks has dropped down from 3rd to 5th there, so he had a bit of a shocking start there as he starts to make a move on Robbo on the inside there. Does he make that move stick? He does, but Roses has gone off there too wide, and he's gone from 2nd to 5th, DJ. So not the start that Roses wants, is to try and pursue his quest to try and catch Xylon 96, but a lot of squabbling here for 2nd place, and Xylon's just pulling it away in 1st.
Yeah, definitely. That's not something you want to happen on the first lap. You see those sparks coming out, they look awesome in this night. It's amazing there. Same as his camera angle, this is awesome. But yeah, a bit of kerfuffling there, but yeah, Robbo's done a nice job to get himself up into 5th there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's some exhaust flames coming out of the back of the car when they change gear. If you can have a look on the rear right. It doesn't happen. Robbo picks himself up a shortcut penalty there.
Oh no, that's not what Robbo wanted after getting a solid start there, as we get Split 2 racing underway as well. As on the offline screens, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hell Blazer, or Hell, what's his name? Hell's Angel, I do apologise, in pole position with Magical Wax 2nd and Devlin in 3rd, as they're about to get their racing underway. But so far on the main screen, we have Xylon 96 there, but Sirik looks like he's dropped a lot of positions as well, DJ. He was up into, I think, 5th at the end of qualifying there, so he's dropped down a lot of positions at the start of the race.
Yeah, he must have got either a really bad start or something happened there, but I didn't quite catch it. But we got all some of these newcomers, so they're making their debut here. So we've got Captain Blade, Halesy, and Nightwalker, what are you doing down there, buddy? It's a bit odd that you're down there. But
Yeah,
hopefully you can.
so he must have just had a bad start. But as we look through the drivers coming through, as we see now, Dargs has made the move to second place, and now he's confirmed his spot in second place with, looks like Broccolilli in third place, right on his tails, so completing out the top three. So 2 MSRs up the front and 2 Ice R drivers in third and fourth place, with Rugworth making a nice progression from the back from the bottom end of the top 10 in fifth place, with Lunacy in sixth, Robbo in seventh. Eighth place, can't see that from the screen there. Who's that in eighth? That was Lewis Atkinson, or Torn Lewis from the Pit Lane Esports entry, who was one of the main series teams last year, but unfortunately had to retire their entries in season 2022, and now looks like they'll be focusing on Div 2 racing. Oh, that's where yourself, DJ, came from from the Pit Lane Esports team, and now you found a new home, Nits Racing Esports for season 2022.
Yeah, well, he goes really deep under brakes there, and he almost causes a massive accident there in the back end of their Mikhail. But yeah, I did start it in the F2 just as a wild card kind of thing. You're just like, oh, come race with us, and then next minute I'm signed for PLE in main series. So it was very daunting. Very daunting for
Oh, sorry, I see an accident back there. That's Gordok 69 there. So this is actually his first appearance in F2 racing in the main lobby. So not the debut that he wanted to have, as we see Halesby 80 come through in 13th place there. But we see the WRT boys, unfortunately, they're all the way down in 14th and 15th. So this is what the team manager in Warpath 360, he did not want to see his drivers occupying the bottom end of the 15.
Yeah, it's very surprising, especially considering how strong they were last year, but actually they didn't race in Formula, so maybe this might be a little bit different to them. They might not be able to realise that you can't drive this like a touring car. It's a lot different. So,
well, I think Nightwalker was racing in F2, and then he made this jump to the main series, but I think he also raced F2 as well for the remainder of the year as well. So, but yeah, like you said, they're racing as we see some yellow flags up there. Broccolilli, that is actually Broccolilli there. So Broccolilli's come down from third all the way down to 12th place, and unfortunately we don't, thanks to GT7, we do not have replays to see what happened with Broccolilli there, but wow, from 13th to 12th there, that is incredible, and not the start that he wanted to campaign in his F2 quest for a championship.
Yeah, certainly, and obviously it is the first round, and the season is going to be a short but long one, so anything's possible. You can see those brake disc glow there, that's awesome. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't have wanted that either, especially on lap 3. So it's a 17 lap race. These guys are half distance off main series, so we've got a 35 lapper tonight, and Slappers runs a little bit wide there. Slappers is also making his debut in the F2, so nice to see WTCC come over.
Our good friends at World Touring Car Championship, run by Slappers mate 117 and a few of his friends as well. Just a bit of a community racing on Saturdays and Monday nights. So if you feel like you've got a spare time on your Mondays and Saturday night of racing, go check them out on their Discord. They are very good friends with Trackstars, and it's good to have Slappers mate representing them and inside the top 10 very nicely there. But as we look back towards the front, we still got Cylon 96 leading the way ahead of Dark 74. Looks like Roses has Roses has come through up into third place after Broccolilli's mistake. Rugworth has moved himself up into fourth place. A very nice showing from Rugworth, but he's got Lunacy right behind him, and he's going to get a lot of pressure from the Project One racing team in fifth place. But looking at the battle pack for fourth place, DJ, it looks quite close to each other. Even Sirik looks like he's getting himself close to that battle pack as well.
They all are, to be honest. So you've got
Robbo as well.
Sirik, Mikhail, Lunacy, and Rugworth all within about 2 seconds of each other. So that's going to be, yeah, you can see it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars there battling for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So you wouldn't want to really make a mistake if you were Rugworth, because you're going to have 4 cars right behind you wanting that position. So they'll be sniffing down your neck. But big news as well from the satellite racing crew is that we don't have Ridwan tonight, so we've got
so Ridwan, so the number 79 occupied by Ridwan. So this is the second team that's joined our main series, ladies and gentlemen. Satellite Racing, that has been led by Viperset as the team manager, and he's got 2 awesome and strong drivers in speedy tyres in the number 41 and Ridwan F1 in the 79. But like you said, unfortunately, big news for Ridwan. He's unable to race this evening, and Viper's brought in Lunacy to be his replacement driver. As we see AMS go for a bit of an excursion there, just takes that chicane wrong, and it just got the rear just snapped out of his hands, and he loses all that position. So just like you said, DJ, if that happens to Rugworth, he'll drop all the way back down the field. But it only looks like it's happened to AMS, and look at that, he's now back down into 10th place. So that's the mistakes that one can have at this racetrack.
Yeah, definitely. You make one little mistake there, and I did notice in testing that if you don't get the chicane right, the car will really snap back on you. But going to Jarman, they've got the porpoising looking realistic. Mate, tell me about it.
Exactly. It does look like it, hey. So it looks like we are recreating F1 racing in real life. That's funny. Yeah, but the cars look really spectacular. All the drivers have put in some awesome liveries there. As we see the PLE entries in Torn Lewis there, Lewis Atkinson, he's got a nice little Brawn colours, representative Brawn colours in his F2 car, the Lara SF19. So he's bringing back the throwbacks of 2009 of the era of Jenson Button and Rubens Barrichello for the Brawn GP team, but only down in 8th place there. So his debut in F2 racing as well. So it's a learning curve for him. But as we go back to this battle pack here, we've got Rugworth and Lunacy just hanging on to each other so much there. And we see as well that Rugworth is on I'm not so sure what tyres the Rugworth is on. He's on soft tyres. And we've got Lunacy on mediums here. So this is going to play very crucial for Lunacy come the strategies, because now they are approaching the end of lap 6. And this is the time, and at the end of this lap, this is the time for the drivers that they can start making their compulsory pit stops, DJ.
Yeah, certainly, and you've got Xylon on softs as well as Dargs, but then we've got Roses on medium, so this may play out into his hands too. And that's also another thing that main series need to look out for is we've had a tyre ruling change from last year. So last year we had to use 3 compulsory compounds. This year we only have 1, which is a hard or medium. It's driver's choice, but they must use a hard or medium compound for a minimum required amount of laps. And any compound that gets used in the race must be used for the minimum amount of time. So it's definitely going to throw some spanners in the works there.
Absolutely right. As we go off screen to the split 2 racing, we still have Hell's Angel from Clutch Kickers Racing in first, with Magical Wax in second, only about 4 seconds behind him. Shumi Jr. also from the Clutch Kickers Racing in the top 3 there, so two of the 3 occupied by Clutch Kicks Racing, which is great for them. Tormentor and Soul Reaper both from WRT Motorsport in 4th and 5th place, so that'll be some good positive news there for Warpath in the chat. Then we have Devlin Calypso in 6th, Fly Balding 072 in 7th, Luminous 8th, Eminem is Not Life, who is also Clutch Kicks. That's a great username, by the way. And then 10th place is NZL Cowboy, and just outside the 10 is Ice R Benjo 19. So 11 drivers still running in that split 2 here, and we've still got 15 drivers here, and we see our first pit stops, DJ.
Yeah, we had Xylon jump into the pits here, so he should be jumping onto mediums when he comes in.
So he brings in the Ultipack Mash Butts Racing entry into the pit lane here, the first of the pit stop runners to go onto the medium tyres. So he's going to go right towards the end. How far back does that drop him? Only to 6th place there. He's got a little bit of a gap there between him and Robbo, so there might be a little bit of dirty air here. So this may potentially help Dargs if he wants to do an overcut for another lap or so, that he might be able to take that position, that might be able to take first place away from his teammate. But as we see Rugworth run a little bit wide there, and he's got Lunacy on the outside, he's going to make that move stick. Yes, he does, before the entry into the outfield section. And what a lovely move by Lunacy. That is the big difference in tyres, ladies and gentlemen, that he's saved his mediums, and Rugworth on worn softs has gone all the way down with no traction whatsoever. And you're going to see Rugworth just abusing that overtake button, just trying to get into that slipstream just before he gets into the bus stop section, which can be very sketchy, as we saw with Brock and Lily and AMS. As he looks towards the inside, almost contact made between the drivers. Lunacy's just come through there safely, but there's a wonderful battling going on between Lunacy and Rugworth in 2nd place at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome back, even considering a little bit of lagging issues there. But we did tell the drivers to take care tonight.
Oh, that's a bit of lag there. I don't know if it was lag or a bit of a bump there, but that was so close. But as we see now, Dark74 come into the pits himself. So he comes out of second place, or they're taking the provisional lead before Xylon96 now comes through into turn 1 to take the lead away from Dark74. I believe that's going to come through very shortly, I believe. Hang on, let's see where is Xylon96 as out of order. Yes, there he is, right there.
He's only 2.9 seconds behind,
so that's not too bad. So I think that was roughly the same gap they had before the pit lane. But has Roses behind actually pitted for tyres? Because I know he made a mistake somewhere, but I can't remember if he actually pitted. No, he hasn't. So he's staying out long on his medium tyres, and obviously worn mediums compared to fresh mediums can be a little bit beneficial for the first few laps. But obviously when Silent gets his tyres warmed up, he'll just pull away from Roses. And even now Rugworth is struggling on those soft tyres. He's even holding up Robbo Sport right behind him in third place, and then his teammate in Xylon right behind. So some interesting strategies going here, DJ. We've got Lunacy leading the way on medium tyres with Rugworth in second. He'll be looking to make that pit stop more or less sooner than later. Coming through to the chicane now. He's only about, so executes that perfectly. Xylon actually has gone through of Rugworth, and looks like, I think that's just a bit of lag. I think that just must have been a bit of lag on Rose's end there, and then just Dark74 right back. But look at but the battle pack here, DJ, is really fascinating. Look, it's so close. Even though there are drivers that haven't made pit stop, as we see Lunacy and Rugworth now make their pit stop, and Silent retakes the lead of this Grand Prix in first place with Roses in second. Robbo trying to go around the outside of Roses, but he can't do it, so Roses in second place, and then Darks74 right behind in fourth, with Captain Blade from CP Motorsports in fifth place there. He also has not made a pit stop, and he's hanging out the back in fifth. AMS Mikhail, who had that huge oversteer moment at the bus stop, he's now down into eighth place, but now we see Rugworth coming out of the pit lane. He will take his seventh place there. Sirik, unfortunately, it just looks like he's just outside of the top 10 there, so he's been saying to me off air that he's just not really won with this car. He just can't find the right setup for his car, but I will say for myself, like me making the liveries, that livery at night time, especially for his, looks very bright and shiny on this fine evening here at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, I do like the whole night running feel. It makes it kind of real, considering obviously you can run Daytona at night, and they do run Daytona at night in real life, so that definitely makes the cars look really good, even if it is a formula. But he also has made a pit stop as well, so a couple of the other guys in front, so Rocco, Lewis, Mikhail, also haven't had a pit stop there, so he should pop out back in 8th when the other guys do drop in. And Captain Blade here as well, as Roses and Robbo do make their eluded pit stops.
So these guys are now going onto the soft tyres, DJ, so with only about 7 laps to go, these guys will be the ones to wash through. As also, Captain Blade comes into the pits to make his final tyre change, so these guys have definitely read the rules and regulations with their tyres, and they've timed that perfectly. As we see AMS as well for a very long time, 10 laps on his soft tyres there. That's quite ballsy of him to make those tyres last that long.
Yeah, those rears in those softs are definitely taking a beating there, so that's a bit rough there. That might have definitely hindered his pace a little tiny bit, but when these mediums warm up, he may start firing through the field here. So he's coming out of the pits now. How is he coming out? So Mikhail's actually jumped, so Sapper's dropped down to 11th. So maybe that worked out for Mikhail there, because I think he was in 12th or 13th when he did before he came into the pits. So.
Yeah, and he was behind the battle pack that was battling for fourth place before that snap oversteer that he had there. But I think from what we can see, everyone has completed their pit stop. So as we run you through the order, coming towards the end of lap 11 and the commencing of lap 12, we have Xylon96 in first place for the Ultipac Mash Buds Racing, leading the way ahead of Dark74 in the Steel City MSR car. So the MSR 1-2 at the moment, with Lunacy in third place for the Project 1 racing team. sponsored by F1 Engraving, I believe it's called.
FP engraving.
FP Engraving, that's the one. And then we have Roses right behind you, but Roses has got a beautiful run here, and Lunacy must have made a mistake somewhere. So now we see Roses in third place there, with Lunacy trying to go for a move around the outside, but he can't make it. So we've got Roses. Oh, Roses has gone too deep there, and Lunacy's going to take back third place here. So this will be a battle pack to keep an eye on later on, DJ. And then we have Rugworth in 5th place. So 3 of the 5 occupied by MSR boys. Not bragging myself, but that's a nice result for the team boss. With Robbo Sport, the first of the Robbo Sport racing cars, in 6th place, with his teammate in Magical Wax leading the way in Split 2. Then we have Captain Blade from CP Motorsports in 7th. Then we have Cyric right behind, about 3.7 behind him in 8th place. Then we have AMS Mikhail in 9th, followed by Halsey 80 occupying rounding up the top 10, and just outside the top 10 is Slapper's mate from WTCC, Rocket Lily, sponsored by Pagnian in the ISR racing team SF19, and then we have Torn Lewis in 13th, and then unfortunately the WRT boys in Nightwalker and Gordok rounding up 14th and 15th place. So definitely one for Warpath to have a sit down with his drivers just to see where it all went wrong for that team.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously we have signed Nightwalker as a reserve for us, so I did try and give him a little bit of help here, but maybe he's tried to work with Gordok and all that kind of jazz, or he can't get his head around the tune, or the car, or the track. You know, there's many different factors here, and as we see the porpoising, look at this, mate, it's real life. You're seeing it here first. Play the dubstep music, mate, you've got it here.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually great. That's the class. That one. That's actually quite funny. But yeah, but it looks like yeah, obviously for Nightwalker being a substitute driver for you guys as well, it's very important for him to actually get some setup work done so he can actually transform that into F2 racing. But man, look at that porpoising. That's incredible. So just the ground clearance from his car is pretty low as well. So the airflow coming through his car is not like in his WRT SF19, that's for sure. But as we look at Cylon's car, there's no porpoising whatsoever. He's got that thing planted just like the real life Ferraris and Red Bulls in Formula 1 racing. We have Cylon and Dargs occupying the first 2, with Lunacy and Roses obviously having that great battle for 3rd place there. But it looks like it's calmed down for a little bit, with Rugworth. Looks like he dropped a position to Robbo Sport in 5th place there. But yeah, looking through here, as we said, we've got it's great to see some drivers returning like Cylon, Rugworth and Robbo, who were part of the top 3 of the 5 last year. But then now we've got these great drivers coming in like Lunacy, Roses, even guys to look out for even is Captain Blade, Cyric when he has the chance to do some racing, but I know he's on a part-time racing. AMS Mikhail could be another one, could be another potential. So some great drivers coming through to the F2 ranks, and it's great to see that we have our 27 drivers still up and running this evening.
Yeah, it's definitely a big showing on the first night, which is definitely a potential from the series, man. I tell you, if they keep signing up, mate, we're going to need some more admin to run some more lobbies, because I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this up, but no, definitely a brilliant showing. It's good to see that they're all signing in, and they can definitely put the feelers out as if, you know, oh, hang on, look at me, I'm in TS2, I'm performing well, you know, sign me to main series, but you never know with that one. But so far it's MSR 1-2, and I don't like that, because that means... Actually, speaking of which, I don't think we have any It's Racing drivers in here, so...
No, I thought you would have had somebody, well, we know that Venti is away, couldn't make it the racing, and then I think Bentendo was supposed to be racing as well, but unfortunately, yeah. So none of the It's Racing boys have signed up, unless Jarman has a PlayStation that he could get from the USA, then he could do some racing this evening, but unfortunately for him it's not, so... But yeah, but anyway, this obviously we might get some It's Racing boys coming in. Maybe Nightwalker can slap on some It's Racing stickers on his WRT car, so you never know. But as we have 3 laps to go here, just been a bit of a easy race for Xylon and in first place. Obviously, you've seen those two in pre-qualifying. Xylon and Dargs was sharing fastest lap times for pre-qualifying. And it definitely shows amongst those drivers that obviously in the off season and in the week leading up to this event, they've definitely worked very hard together, at least to try and pull through results for the team.
Yeah, certainly, but it looks like Dargs has pulled a little bit of time here from Xylon, but not much, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that 6.9 second gap there from Xylon in 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. So
yeah, a little bit too big. Bit of a gap there, but Lunacy looks like he's doing really well to actually keep Roses off. So that battle pack that Roses and Lunacy that I wanted to keep an eye on looks like it's stable out a bit. And now we've got Robbo Sport in the play here. So Robbo Sport to me was saying to me before the race started, he said he was not liking his chances of having a race this evening and being in the top 5 or even let alone a podium. DJ, the podium for Robbo is on this so far, but let's not try and put a commentator's curse on him as he tries to make a move on Roses through the chicane. You cannot really make a move into that chicane, which is very tricky, and from that glitching on Roses, that's definitely going to put Robbo off when it comes to concentration, trying to execute a move.
yeah, and Roses here goes around the outside, but it looks like Roses is topping out. So is Lunacy, so we'll see. He's topping out at 3 or 4, and then Robbo's dropped back a bit there, so he must have got a really bad run out of the bus stop.
I think he got a half second there, but it looks like, I feel like that's probably the end of it. Looks like Roses is ahead of Lunacy and Robbo Sport in 5th place there. So Robbo just had a little bit of a tough going there into the chicane there. Like I said, didn't want to put a commentator's curse, but unfortunately I think I did. But sorry Robbo, but at least the top 5 for him is a very strong result for him, especially in a competitive field in the F2 division.
Yeah, mate, I'm definitely looking forward to this season in the F2 because they've showing up already, and it's already the first round. They haven't even finished the race yet, but I'll definitely be looking as well because obviously we've got our settings in as well that prevents the series being dominated by your A+ drivers and your previous champions and stuff like that. So they only allowed to race a maximum of 5 rounds in the 11-round championship. So they can pick whatever 5 rounds they go as Roses here. Got 0.7 faster, but Brocco's got the quickest lap.
Yeah, so look at that. So even for Brocco Lilly, he's setting the purple lap times, as we said at the beginning of the race. So we know Brocco Lilly's a very fast driver, but just that mistake that he made into the bus stop there, as Lunacy now picks up a half-second penalty. So this might bring Robbo a little bit more closer into the equation here. So Lunacy was going from a podium from the previous lap to now potentially just on the brink of the top 5 here as Robbo decides to make that inside move. He doesn't have much overtake on him there. And as I see those cars come through, I see those cars look so similar. Like if you look at it from a side profile, they look very similar to each other. They look like teammates.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with the lights as well. They look very similar.
Oh, Robbo's tries to go defensive. Lunacy's just trying to squeeze on through. He cannot squeeze through. And then we have Robbo Sport just keeping that 4th place. So very nice driving from these boys. Beautiful racing. But yeah, the side profiling of those cars, they look so similar to each other. I almost thought they were teammates.
Yeah, even just here as well. Yeah, they definitely do look similar. But I can tell you, I wouldn't really want to be fighting with a teammate like that. That's for sure.
No, that's right. But we are here, ladies and gentlemen, on the final lap here as we cut towards Xylon 96. We don't see any more battling going on in the middle of the pack, but what a start for Xylon 96. Took a break from F2 racing last year. Was leading the championship coming towards Bathurst at the end of the Bathurst round with 2 rounds to go, but had to retire due to work life and real life situations. But now he's back with a vengeance, ladies and gentlemen, and on to the final straight. We have Xylon 96 from Multipack Mash Buds Racing taking the victory in the first round of the Trackstars Formula 2 racing with his teammate in Dark 74 in the Steel City Mash Buds Racing in 2nd place there. So an MSR 1-2 there in the opening rounds of Daytona with Roses coming through, and a nice performance and a great drive by Roses there, getting himself into a 29's lap time with Robbo Sport. Take a bow, Robbo in 4th place and Lunacy in 5th. So Lunacy, who was contending for a podium 3 laps ago, is now down to, finishes in 5th place there, so not the result that Lunacy wanted. Rugworth in 6th place there. Then we have Captain Blade in 7th place for the CP Motorsports entry there. and then Sirik rounding up the top 8 there. So great drives from all of our drivers here. Broccolilli crosses the line in 9th. AMS Mikal just in the top 10 there. Yes, in 10th place. So great drive from him as well on his debut. Lewis Atkinson, unfortunately, just outside the brink of the top 10 for the Pit Lane Esports team in 11th. And then we have Slapper's mate there, so in 12th. So a little bit surprising by Slappers not to have that performance that we saw in pre-season testing from him. Halsey 80 in 13th place. And then we have Nightwalker and then Gordock rounding up the top 15. But we have our winner, ladies and gentlemen. It is Xylon 96 from Mash Buds Racing, taking the first blood and victory here for Trackstars Formula 2 Racing at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, definitely. But I hope that wasn't. This is fantastic. These settings, save the replay.
You can't share replays.
I don't even know if I can save that replay, but
yeah, I think Robbo will take care of that. But
as to take care, but yeah.
As I look through to the into the second split here, we'll have a look. That we've got Hell's Angel. Obviously couldn't make pre-qualifying. He's about to cross the line, or coming through the bus stop rather, in first place with his teammate Shumi Jr. in second place. And then we have Magical Wax. Looks like he made a bit of an accident, had a bit of a mistake there in his last few laps to be down in third place, and Luminous in fourth, Flyboarding in fifth. So nice running from those guys. But yeah, that is geez, I'll tell you what, DJ, that time flew by so quickly. I mean, that was incredible, like the timing. I thought that was going to be a little bit longer, but wow. F2 racing has just gotten faster and more exciting this year.
Yeah, that was very quick. It's 7:15, and we never usually finish before 7 o'clock.
And it's great to see from all 15 of our drivers. Looks like there wasn't really many issues there. I don't think there was any contacts, but obviously if they do have any issues there, it could be more or less lobby related. But if it is contact, then yeah, they will let series management know about their race and try and provide some onboard footage of their incidents. But I think so far, to cap off the evening, I will say that was a successful night, DJ, don't you think? Great racing from all of our drivers in Cylon 96, Dargs and Roses occupying the podium spots here at the conclusion of round 1.
Yeah, definitely, it was a good showing there by them. And obviously, in regards to the lobby settings, I said, yeah, it looks like it cooperated as best it can be in its current state at the moment. So it was very good to see that everyone came across even regarding that, and they have been pretty keen. So we'll assess next week as we go on, but so far it looks to be somewhat tolerable. So hopefully we can get the season underway.
Absolutely, it'll be great to see our drivers having a awesome showing in the next future rounds to come through. So, but it's been awesome racing from everybody. Lovely to see. And I believe that is going to wrap up our coverage here, DJ. So thank you so much for everyone for joining us here and the opening night of Trackstars Formula 2 Racing. Thank you so much for joining us. Been an awesome race, and congratulations to our podium runners in Xylon, Dargs and Roses. So a great showing from our drivers and a good start for those 3 drivers. But on behalf of myself and DJ, we will catch you guys very soon for round 2 coming up in the following week's time.